Before this video begins, please read this section right here on the fair use policy and whether I'm allowed to use the information that I'll be putting in this video. Hey, I'm Alex, and today I'm going to be doing a video that I haven't really done before, and I'm going to be talking about a store called Petco, which you've probably heard of. If you haven't, they sell some animals and then they sell a lot of supplies, but they also have a reptile section in basically every store that they have. And they get a lot of criticism about this, but I've never really looked that closely at it. I usually just pass by because I only go there for like feeder insects and feeder mice and bedding and stuff. But I decided to stop at the reptiles and take some photos of what I saw, which I'm showing you now. And so this is the first one. It's the first terrarium that I went up to. This is the bearded dragon one. There were two bearded dragons. One looks like it's a couple years old, and then the other one's a baby. And you might already notice some things wrong with this photo that don't look good for a bearded dragon. For example, the size of the water bowl, and that water bowl was filled almost to the top. And that baby getting in and out of that water bowl while trying to drink or soak or whatever has a potential of drowning because that water bowl is so big. Also, that hide in there, that's the only hide that was in the whole terrarium, and obviously both of those animals would not fit under there. And then also you might see, which I'll go ahead and move to the next photo. Not a great photo to see, but there's some bearded dragon droppings, and you might be able to tell, but these droppings are really old and have been there for way too long, and you're supposed to remove them from your tank probably every day. It's best, because they can carry bacteria that can get the dragon sick. Also, the next photo here, you might notice a couple things. First, right by the dragon's tail, the baby one, there's more really old poop, and both of these dragons are actually stuck in shed. It's hard to tell in the photo, but I can try and show you. There's both dragons have some on their legs, and then one has it on its back, the baby one. But that's all I could see on the dragons. There might have been more stuck shed, but that's all I could tell. And there's some on the toes of the baby dragon. And this generally isn't too dangerous, but it can be really uncomfortable for the animals, and you want to help your animals get that full shed off so that they don't have any skin problems. And also, you might see in the background there is a rotting cricket, and I don't know how long it's been there, but it is basically rotting, and of course you don't want that in there. That's also a potential hazard for disease that could spread in there. And also, if one of the dragons tries to eat it, which they probably won't, that could be dangerous. But even just having it in there, it can attract bacteria and diseases in the tank. And there were actually multiple crickets. I didn't get all of them in photos, and they were all basically rotting in the tank where the dragons were living. Next, the heating and humidity is not correct in the tank. This was the hottest spot in the tank, and it is way too cool in this area. There were no actual heat lamps, it was just UVB. Next, this is the dragon's food, and you can see, well, hopefully you can see that some of it is really mushy, just in a way that it's rotting, and you're not supposed to keep fruits or veggies in your animal's tank if they are herbivore or omnivore. You should take it out definitely a few hours after they don't eat. If like whatever they don't eat, you should take out to make sure that it doesn't make them sick or anything. And both the lettuce or leafy greens, whatever that is, it's browning around the edges, and then the mushy stuff, I'm not sure what it is, but that's also starting to get bad and get old. And then I went to the leopard geckos, and this is what you see when you walk up to it. You might already notice one thing, and sand is not recommended for lizards because they can end up ingesting it while they're eating their food. You can see some limbs of crickets in there, which is mostly just legs, which that's okay, but that shows that they have been eating them on the sand, and there's a possibility that they could have ingested some of the sand. And also, it's really hard to tell, but that hide, that was the only hide in there. Here's a closer photo. I couldn't count them all because it was really dark, but there were like 5 to 7 leopard geckos just stacked up in there, and it was kind of cute, but they didn't have any space of their own. I'm not really sure how important this is, but I feel like they should all be able to fit in there because there's one gecko right down here, not even in the hide. There's another gecko up on top. I don't know if you saw that one. And finally, this is the last photo I took, and this is the leopard gecko's water bowl with 1, 2, 3 dead crickets. And having insects like this in the water can end up getting the water filled with bacteria, and it's definitely not healthy for the animal. I'm not sure how long the crickets were in there, but they're sagging a lot, which they generally don't when they first die, so it looks like they've been in there quite a while to really soak into that water. So those are all the photos that I took while I was there, and I didn't look at every tank, but those were the bearded dragon and leopard gecko tanks that they had there. And of course this is generally my opinion on things, and it's your choice if you want to buy the animals. And there's kind of two sides to this, because one, these animals are in bad conditions, which I believe they are, so you might want to, save those animals, give them better conditions. But the problem with that is supply and demand. So if people go to rescue the animals from that Petco, then Petco will be like, oh, we're selling more of these, we should buy more and breed more. So then it's just like a cycle. So what I think, this is just my personal opinion, you should not buy from Petco or related stores that have inadequate care, because that's just going to cause them to get more, even though unfortunately there's those few individuals that will be there, but that's how I look at it. Also, something to note, I don't know if I said this in the beginning of the video or not, but this is just one Petco location. I only went to one. However, if just one store is like this, it seems like they should have every store up to its best. And yeah, that's what I think of Petco's animals, Petco's care, my opinion on what you should do at purchasing wise there. I'd say it's fine to get supplies there, that's where I get most of my stuff. But yeah, that's it for this video. I'm Alex, and thanks for watching.